Disney Springs is reopening May 20th. What's going on, everyone? Dave K here today, bringing you all the news about Disney Springs reopening on May 20th of this year, of this month even. You may or may not already know that Disney Springs has announced they will begin a phased reopening beginning May 20th. It sounds like maybe there will be a second phase around May 29th, but I'm so excited for this news. And today I want to go through several different bullet points that we have on the information thus far. There's not a lot of information, but I want to give you an idea of the information thus far regarding Disney Springs reopening on May 20th and how I feel about it. So for one, it sounds like this phased reopening is going to begin with those establishments owned and operated by third parties. So for those, for example, those restaurants owned by others, maybe the Landry's restaurants, I want to say T-Rex is one of those restaurants, should be open in this phased reopening. It doesn't necessarily say that all third-party restaurants will be open, but it sounds like it'll begin with third-party restaurants opening in the Disney Springs area. And again, note, that's a limited number of shopping and dining venues open, so it's not all, maybe not all, well, I guess we'll find out if it's all third-party shops and venues, but at least we'll have something opening up on May 20th, which is exciting and of course scary in a way as well. The second point I want to touch on here is that masks will be required. Face masks will be required by guests as well as cast members at Disney Springs. So cast members and guests will be required to wear face masks. We don't know exactly what these face masks will look like or what is allowed and not allowed, if they're going to have any on hand for us, or if you're just gonna have to bring them yourself and hope that your mask is sufficient. I imagine we'll receive more information on this as we close in on the date. At the time of filming here, we're about 2 weeks out from hearing what's going on. We just heard this announcement here today, so I wanted to make this a video for you as soon as possible, push it out as soon as possible. But very excited for this news, and at the same time, I'm a little bit nervous. It sounds like there may be a phase 2 around May 29th. Again, don't have all the information, but hearing a couple different pieces of information regarding May 20th, May 29th, and kind of a phased reopening here, so we'll have to see what stores, what venues open up at what point, and what continues to open as we move through the days. It's really exciting in the sense that we know we're starting to get our economy back, we're starting to open up businesses, and we're about to have activities that we can go out and do again soon. Of course, I find this scary in a lot of ways as well, where I feel like it is very soon. The illness is still very present in our society, in our economy, and people need to make sure they're being cautious. So with these venues opening up in 2 weeks, I'm very hopeful that the curve will be much lower than where it is today, but I do worry about what it's going to look like. We don't have that clarity, and again, I think we're pretty close to the peak, we're pretty close to that high point of the curve at the present time. I'm confident Disney will take appropriate precautions to make sure everyone is staying safe in Disney Springs during this time, but I'm still concerned again about the potential. With more people going out and about, I'll be curious to see how many people show up at Disney Springs on that particular day. My guess is there will be a lot more foot traffic on that day than you'd normally anticipate for Disney Springs throughout the year, just because it's the first Disney activity open, and it's the first day of any Disney activity being open, and being able to see all that is something that a lot of people want to catch up on. They've been missing out on that Disney experience. But again, it's kind of concerning for me in the sense that if too many people are around, it just causes that much more risk for people to get sick. As I've communicated before, I am really concerned about kind of a second wave or a second peak of illness. I don't want people to kind of get sick all over again because we opened up our businesses and we opened up our economies too quickly. But again, I'm hopeful and I'm confident that if Disney's taking this step, they are also confident they can take the appropriate precautions to make sure, the appropriate precautions to make sure that everyone is safe and well in their area. You can get more information on the reopening of Disney Springs on the Disney Springs website. Disney Springs has their own website, disneysprings.com, and that is where you can find some of this information. I posted a picture on Instagram and made a TikTok video, but that picture on Instagram is from Disney Springs specifically, and you'll see it's got that Disney Springs website and kind of the bottom logo there of the Disney Springs website that tells you that Disney Springs will begin a phased reopening on May 20th, and it's got a link for here's what you need to know before you go. So if you keep your eyes on that website, website, you should be able to keep up to date with the latest information in terms of what is reopening. At the present time, I'm not seeing any venues listed from shops to dining venues, but my guess is we'll be seeing a lot of those big names in terms of dining venues that aren't owned by Disney. So for example, I think T-Rex is probably more likely one of those restaurants that's going to be open in that first wave at Disney. And my guess is they're going to follow those same requirements that I touched on in that previous video, Disney's reopening plan, kind of the plan they set up for that phase 1 in terms of 50% capacity, recommending older cast members stay home and avoid coming into the parks, and distributed diners so that not all tables are utilized, and other precautions, for example, hand sanitizer readily available, other precautions to make sure everyone's staying safe in their restaurants. And similarly on the Disney Springs website, Disney Springs lists that in addition to Disney Springs, theme parks, restaurants, hotels may adjust what they're offering, right? May modify their offerings based on the illness, making sure they're complying with expectations and standards of the government and of the society and of the economy. So again, that's kind of a good sign that we're making sure we're taking appropriate precautions, but it may also prevent people from wanting to venture out. They may say, well, it's not worth taking a trip down to Florida right now, or it's not worth going out of my house to Disney Springs right now to check out what's going on because those items and those venues available there are limited. So I just wanted to give you a quick update and let you know the news. I'm so excited for the future, the things to be opening back up. I'm excited to hear that Disney's opening back up. But again, I remain nervous in a way. I'm worried that we're potentially worried about a second wave of illness. Again, I think that Disney's probably more proactive, more preemptive in terms of making sure they're mitigating as much risk as possible. But I think the risk is definitely still there as a possibility. And masks can protect you quite a bit. But I think that there's probably still risk. For example, you don't have everything covered when you're wearing a mask. So it's just something to keep in mind if you're considering going out. Now, I would love to be able to go out and share some of Disney Springs with you. We'll see how soon I'm able to make that happen. I am still working during this time, and I'm very fortunate to be able to work during this time. So a lot of my days are full with work, but I'm also considering in terms of general health. Will I feel comfortable going out? I guess we'll have to see, for me, what the curve looks like when the Disney Springs opens back up. So if the curve's looking okay, maybe I'll feel more comfortable going that weekend or finding a time to check out Disney Springs and share with you what's open in Disney Springs at that time. How do you feel about Disney Springs opening back up? Are you excited for all of the fun coming back to us? I feel like this is a sign. This is the beginning of the future here, where everything's going to open back up. We're going to be able to go back out, have a great time, and with time, this illness will pass. We'll be able to go out there and enjoy all the fun activities we used to before. So I'm so excited to share it all with you. How are you feeling about this announcement? Are you excited and nervous as I am? Are you more excited, more nervous, or do you have some other feeling altogether? I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being a part of the fun with me as always. And of course, if you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell to stay informed of future adventures, whether it's news or getting back out there to the theme parks and restaurants real soon. There's so much fun in the future with travel opening back up. I'm hoping to catch up on some travel, maybe get out there, see some new places that we haven't seen in a while, so let's do it. And one other note on Disney Springs reopening, it sounds like Universal CityWalk is planning to reopen as well. Several friends mentioned the potential reopening, and it looks like maybe May 11th, so even a little bit sooner than Disney Springs. A few shops at Universal CityWalk are gonna open up. Again, kind of unclear on exactly which restaurants, which shopping venues will be open at Universal CityWalk, but it's exciting news that everything is opening back up. It's a great start before the parks open back up to be able to check out some CityWalk, check out some restaurants, and I'm excited for all the fun to be had coming up real soon. Thanks for being a part of the fun with me today, and until next time, play on. So it sounds like this phased reopening is going to begin with those restaurants, those venues owned by third-party operating participants. And again, note, that's a limited number of restaurants and dining third-party. I'm sure Disney... And one other note on Disney Springs opening, Universal CityWalk is planning to reopen as well. Several friends mentioned to me, and I looked into it.